Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, trading community mounts pressure on government to use media budget to cut taxes whilst enforcing the investment laws to control rising level of imports. Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Industries urges government to address structural rigidities in the economy to help businesses navigate the difficult macroeconomic conditions. And Governor of the Bank of Ghana hints of drastic expenditure cuts in the central bank's operations as a result of substantial loss posted in 2022. Details coming up. My name is Darryl Kwan. Thanks for being with us this morning. The trading community in Ghana is mounting pressure on government to use the media budget to cut taxes whilst enforcing the investment laws to control the rising levels of imports. Now, according to the Ghana Union of Traders Association, the economic climate is already not favorable. That's driving most of them out of business. They contend if the media budget doesn't address their concerns, most of them will be forced to fold up. Dr. Joseph Obeng spoke on the Joy Business pre-budget forum on the theme, what should the policy direction be in the 2023 media budget? Meanwhile, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Ayim-Dake, is urging government to address some structural rigidities in the economy to help businesses navigate the difficult macroeconomic conditions. According to him, though Ghana's 17th International Monetary Fund program has helped reduce the negative impact of the country's macroeconomic conditions on businesses, more needs to be done.
Our businesses have been stressed within the context of the macro. They led to a lot of contraction into our business operation. It led to low growth. It led to low unemployment. But by virtue of the IMF transaction, restored confidence to which we are planning effectively. And we look forward to other indicators that are work in progress, because the IMF process is not a one-time transaction, it's a process. Nonetheless, we still believe that there are structural rigidities that needs to be tackled.
That was President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Ayim-Dake. Well, still from the pre-budget forum, financial economist Professor Godfrey Bokwin has once again advised the government to cut down on its size to show a sign of goodwill as the country goes through difficult economic challenges. Professor Bokwin said cutting down the size of government will also encourage the private sector to join in helping revive the economy through sacrifices.
The approach government has adopted under the program would disproportionately affect the private sector and undermine private sector competitiveness, and that is a cause for concern for us. And also, whilst we have advocated for expenditure cuts, the kind of expenditure cut government has done under the program is actually not the kind of expenditure cut we had wished.
Economist Professor Godfrey Bokwin. On his part, the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Karwe, has called for a national discourse to create a new economic development policy. According to him, the country has lost direction in governance, making government rely on outmoded economic policies.
We are applying an outmoded economic development policies to try to develop ourselves. If we think that we can still go with this fixation that you can generate revenue by increasing your taxes and tax the same people all the time, certainly it is telling us that it's not working. So we need to review our economic policy to know that tax is good to generate revenue, but tax should not be the first call to generate revenue.
That was General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Karwe. In other news this morning, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has indicated that the central bank will be carrying out some drastic expenditure cuts over the next 3 years. It's emerged that it could record close to 50 million cedi loss in 2022 due to the domestic debt exchange program. Dr. Addison has been interacting with Chair of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, James Aveji.
The domestic debt exchanges and last week, the cocoa bills and the dollar-denominated bills, they were only settled last week. So all of these have an impact on the Bank of Ghana's accounts.
I'm told somewhere that your loss this time for 2022 over around 50 billion. Is it true?
I can confirm that we will make a significant loss in 2022.
Significant loss. What I've heard is not far from the truth.
Yes, we already have a medium-term plan to become more efficient, including cutting down on all expenditures, not only capital, because we are going to be starting off from, a very large loss.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Enes Addison, answering questions before the Public Accounts Committee. Now, as part of his quest to support the construction sector, Tanning Group Ghana has launched its Dongfeng trucks. According to Head of Sales Rebecca Oforiaye, the move is also to provide consumers durable products that will stand the test of time. Speaking to Joy Business at the unveiling, she said the construction industry needs a reform to facilitate growth of the sector.
We are competitive in terms of the pricing, because this price comes with a high specs. The technologies in these trucks cannot be seen in the Ghanaian market. The durability, the comfort driving, the safety and security features of these vehicles are top-notch.
Rebecca Oforiaye, the head of sales for Tanning Group Ghana. The Petroleum Commission is expected to begin the implementation of its revised local content policy guidelines from August this year. This will ensure that new discoveries, including Talos Jubilee Southeast, incorporate the amendments of the new policy in its operations. According to Director of Local Content, Dr. Kweku Boateng, the amendment has become necessary to open up more opportunities for local players to participate in the oil and gas sector. He made the disclosure to Joy Business at the ongoing Extractive Industry Summer School in the Western region.
We did the second stakeholder consultation, which was the final one, and we hope that by August next month, the new amendment will be rolled out when the guidelines are finalized.
Are we likely to see this new guideline or new policy in the recently found discovery by Talo, the GSC?
Yeah, once it applies, yes, it will apply to Talo and all activities ongoing.
The summer school, organized by GIZ and other partners, aims to broaden the knowledge of stakeholders on current happenings in the extractive sector and to learn from best practices. We've got more news for you this morning. The West African Monetary Institute has stated that the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, could experience about 10% growth in gross domestic product in the short to medium term if it successfully rolls out the West African Capital Market Integration. According to Director General of the Institute, Dr. Oloronshola Owolofeso, the integration would enhance liquidity and provide the needed capital for business growth. He spoke at a capacity building exercise organized by the West African Monetary Institute for Financial Market Operators.
Look at the GDP of West Africa. It's about 777 billion. And with this, by the time we integrate this capital market, it will increase the GDP of West Africa. Let me put it that way. But now, if you are recording 777 billion USD, you are looking at having over 800 to 900 billion. And that would be a plus to Africa in terms of job employment, in terms of liquidity, in terms of IT infrastructure.
Dr. Oloronshola Owolofeso is Director General of the West African Monetary Institute. You are listening to the Joy Business Report. Now, after Gifty Dankwa-Redu completed university, she decided she would start her own business. Baking was the first idea that came to her, but she would not do what everyone does. Gifty decided she would make healthy cakes. 7 months into the business, the Joy Business Van visits her startup, which is allowing consumers have their cake and eat it healthily too. Take a look. You've heard the saying, you can't have your cake and eat it. Well, not quite. At least Passion Cakes allows you to do that. Have your cake and eat it healthily too. Gifty Dankwa-Redu is a graduate of the Okwa Technical University, where she studied financial accounting. But after school, she decided to start her own business.
After my national service, I had passion for baking, and I was passionate about it. So I decided to go into baking.
A determined Gifty took a class to learn to bake.
My parents are my first customers. I baked and then I gave it to them for them to try, and some few friends around me.